Alright, let's do this. So we're going to start off with the definition of scarcity, which is a lack of a resource. And to depict this, we got our boy Elon's Teslas here in Africa. And I would assume there is a pretty big scarcity of Teslas in Africa. Now, moving on to the next definition, we have markets, which align self-interest with social interest, and they are generally beneficial. We have Walmart here, and a self-interest would be making money off of selling the goods, and a social interest is feeding people so they survive with food. Then we have marginal, which means additional, and here in this beautifully drawn graph, we can see from the points 3, going from x equals 3 to x equals 4, there is an additional cost of 1 of the value of y, which goes from 1 to 0. So 1 to 1. Moving 1 to the right costs 1, which is also the opportunity cost, but I'm going to cover that more in a second. So a positive statement is a statement that's factual. And here we have mad facts. We have the gravity of the Earth is equal to negative 9.8 meters per second squared. Like, you can't dispute this. This is straight facts. And a normative statement is opinionated, like green is the best color. It's something that's subjective. Alright. Traditional economies are based around tradition, and they're often either agricultural or less technologically advanced. And here we have the example of pottery. Now, I'm going to quickly move on to market economy and command economy. And I have even though it's technically a mixed economy, I have the US and our boy Trump representing a market economy, which is where decisions are made by the people in regards to their economic interests. And a command economy is the complete opposite, where the government makes all the decisions. We have our boy Kim here. But a mixed economy is a combination of the both, where people have their own self-interest and they make their own decisions, but there are also government regulations. And every country in the world has some form of a mixed economy. Alright, so now, a few weeks ago, I inherited this is a really good drawing of a factory, by the way. I inherited a churro factory that produces churros and sopapillas, and from a distant relative. And I can produce 50 churros or 50 sopapillas. I got this beautiful graph here to show this. My opportunity cost is 1 to 1. And I have the opposition, my competition, and they can produce 20 churros or 10 sopapillas or anything in between. And their opportunity cost is either 1 churro costs like 1/2 of a sopapilla, or a sopapilla costs 2 churros. And so I have the absolute advantage because I can produce more churros and more sopapillas. But my opposition has a comparative advantage with churros, since their opportunity cost is less for producing churros, since mine is 1 to 1 and theirs is 1 to 1/2. And here we have the production possibility frontier. Now, a few years after that, I got some serious gains from my business. I did a really good job managing it, and our production went up a lot, as you can tell. And we decided to expand from churros and sopapillas to churros and salsa. And the production possibility frontier graph here is curved, since the resources required to make salsa are different than those required to make churros. So, as we focus more resources on producing salsa, shown, good example is point B, then there are less resources used to produce churros, so our production of churros decreases exponentially. Like producing, let's say this is 500 would yield 0 churros, but as soon as we go up, even though we're producing only slightly less salsa here, we're producing a lot more churros. And that is the case up here, but the inverse. Even though we're producing from this point right here, we're producing slightly less churros than this point. We are producing a lot more salsa. Okay, I wanted to add one more thing. There are benefits to trade, and trade can improve specialization. And an example of beneficial trade for both parties between me and the opposition is me trading 2 self-appeas to the opposition for 3 churros. Since it benefits me because normally it would cost me 2 churros to make 2 self-appeas, so I'm gaining an extra churro from this trade. And it benefits the opposition because in order to produce 2 self-appeas, it would normally cost them 4 churros. So we both benefit.